Ava stared at the glowing monitor, her breath catching in her throat. On the X-ray, tiny fractures spiderwebbed across Valor's ribcage. One leg showed an unnatural bend. He hadn't just been abandoned. He'd been crushed, stepped on, kicked, hit by a bike or car. The thought made her stomach turn. "How is he even alive?" she whispered. Josh shook his head. "It's a miracle, but he's going to need more than heat and fluids now. Surgery. Multiple ones. Time. Resources. Pain." Ava looked down at Valor, now sleeping in a tiny, heated basket. His sides rose and fell so softly, as if life itself wasn't quite sure it wanted to stay. "I'll cover it," she said without hesitation. "Ava, it could cost. I don't care." She didn't know how she'd do it. Her own rent was overdue. Her car needed new tires. But there wasn't a single part of her that could imagine walking away. The first surgery came that afternoon. A visiting orthopedic vet arrived in scrubs, reviewing the films grimly. "This little guy's tougher than he looks," the surgeon muttered, prepping the tools. Ava stood behind the glass, heart pounding, watching every move. It felt like hours passed in slow motion. When the surgeon finally emerged, she saw the answer in his tired smile. "He's going to hurt, but he'll live." Ava sagged against the wall with relief. The following days blurred into a rhythm of care. Ava fed Valor with a dropper every 3 hours, cleaned his wounds, changed his bandages, sang lullabies under her breath while rocking him like a child. "He's attached to you," Josh commented one night. "Watches you every time you move. He's probably wondering why I won't shut up." Ava chuckled, brushing her hand gently down Valor's tiny spine. But secretly, she wondered the same thing. Why had this tiny soul been left to die? What kind of person walks away from life that small? Still, Ava knew she didn't have time for bitterness. Valor needed her, needed love, warmth, patience. One night, a storm rolled in again. Thunder cracked above the clinic like angry gods, rain lashing against the windows. Valor startled at the noise. His tiny limbs twitched. Then he cried out, louder than she'd ever heard. Ava rushed to his side, scooping him up gently. "Sure, it's just noise, baby. Just noise." But his eyes, though still swollen, searched for comfort. His whole body trembled against her chest. She rocked him slowly, murmuring, "No one's going to hurt you again. I swear it." And for the first time, he purred. A tiny, broken engine trying to roar. Tears filled her eyes. That purr meant everything. Not just survival. It meant trust. Week by week, Valor grew stronger. His appetite returned. His eyes opened. One gold, one cloudy from an infection. Ava treated him around the clock. She brought a soft plush toy from home, and he curled around it like it was a sibling. The moment he took his first wobbly step, the entire staff cheered. Josh filmed it. Ava cried. He limped, of course. He would for a while. Maybe always. But there was something fierce in his little heart. Each step was a defiance of what had been done to him. "You're going to be trouble." Ava laughed as Valor climbed her sleeve clumsily one morning. He paused, looked at her with that wide, fragile face, and let out a squeaky meow. And just like that, her heart cracked open all over again. But good news doesn't always last forever. One afternoon, the clinic received an envelope. Inside were flyers. "Lost kitten. Reward. Please contact if found." Josh frowned. "It's him." Ava read the details. The photo was blurred, but unmistakable. The bent ear. The odd patch on his tail. Valor. Her stomach dropped. A number was scribbled on the back. Josh hesitated. What if it's the one who hurt him? Ava's voice was flat. "I'm going to find out." She dialed. "Hello." A gruff voice answered. Male. Impatient. "Yes, I saw your flyer. I think I found your kitten." Pause. "Really? Where? Is he alive?" Ava chose her next words carefully. "Yes, but he was badly injured." "Do you know what happened to him?" The man snorted. "Damn thing got underfoot. Wife wanted it gone anyway. But we figured he'd come home eventually." Something inside Ava turned to ice. "You abandoned him," she whispered. The man's tone turned defensive. "Look, it's just a cat. If he's alive, great. We'll come get him." Ava ended the call and sat in silence. Valor, asleep in his basket, kicked one paw in a dream. She reached down and stroked his head. "You're never going back there. Not while I'm breathing." But Ava knew one thing. If she wanted to keep him, she'd have to fight. Legally. The man had proof of ownership. And Ava, all she had, was love. To be continued. The rain was relentless, hammering the pavement like an angry drum. In the shadows of a soaked alleyway, barely visible under a collapsed cardboard box, came the tiniest sound. Not even a meow, more like a faint, desperate squeak. It was the kind of cry you could almost miss if your heart wasn't listening. A woman named Ava, walking home from a long double shift at the animal clinic, paused. Umbrella in one hand, groceries in the other, she should have kept walking. But something about that whimper pierced her, straight to the soul. She turned slowly, scanning the alley with narrowed eyes. The city was loud, busy, and different, but this sound? It begged for something more. Something human. She dropped her bag of groceries without a second thought, the apples rolling into puddles. She crouched and listened. There it was again, a barely there scream. "Oh God," she whispered. "Where are you?" She got down on her knees and crawled between bins, her clothes soaking through in seconds. The cardboard rustled. She lifted it and gasped. There, trembling and soaked to the bone, was a kitten so small it looked like it had barely entered the world. Its eyes were sealed shut with crust, formatted with grime and blood. A raw pink patch on its side showed a gaping wound. "Oh no. Oh sweet baby," Ava breathed, her voice cracking. The kitten let out another cry, louder this time, like it finally sensed someone had heard. She took off her scarf and carefully scooped it up, tucking the kitten against her chest. Her heart pounded as she stood and cradled it like something sacred. "Hang on," she whispered. "I've got you now." She ran. Ava didn't care about the rain anymore. Didn't care that her phone was soaked, her keys were probably lost in the alley, or that she had left her groceries behind. She pushed through traffic, dodged honking cars, and sprinted toward the clinic. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed as she burst through the door, panting and wild-eyed. "Emergency," she called out. "It's a kitten. He's barely breathing." The tech on night duty, Josh, leapt up from the desk. "Room 2. Go." Together, they placed the tiny kitten on the table. Ava was already grabbing saline, heating pads, gauze. Her hands moved faster than her mind. "Come on, little guy. Stay with me." Josh looked up after a moment. His breathing shallow. "Hypothermic. But we've got a pulse." Ava smiled through her tears. "That's all I need." Hours passed. The clinic was quiet except for the steady beep of the heating pad, the occasional rustle of the kitten's breath. Ava didn't leave his side. She wrapped him in a towel and whispered stories about the home she'd prepare for him if he made it. "You'll have a name. A warm bed. Sunlight. Not this." She didn't know if he could hear her. But she kept talking. At dawn, just as the first light filtered through the rain-smeared windows, the kitten stirred. A twitch of his paw. A faint flicker of his ear. "Did you see that?" she gasped. Josh ran over. "He's responding." Ava placed a trembling hand on the kitten's back. "That's it, baby. You're fighting. You're not done yet." The door chimed. Another vet arrived for the morning shift. But Ava didn't even look up. Her whole world was in that towel. The kitten whimpered once more. Then, for the first time, let out a soft meow. Ava broke down, laughing and crying all at once. She leaned in and kissed the edge of his tiny, dirty ear. "You made it through the night. You're a warrior." She named him Valor. And just when it seemed like things might finally turn for the better, the X-rays came in. Josh frowned. "There's something you should see." Ava turned toward the screen, and what she saw made her heart drop again. To be continued. The next morning, Ava sat in her car outside the county animal control office, gripping a manila folder so tightly her knuckles were white. Inside, medical records, X-rays, photos of injuries, statements from 2 clinic vets, and a printed log of everything she had done since the night she found Valor. She took a breath, got out, and walked through the doors. The clerk at the desk gave her a polite nod. "How can I help you?" "I need to file a petition for animal custody," Ava said firmly. The woman raised an eyebrow, but slid a form across. "You'll need evidence. If it's a found animal and someone claims ownership." "I have everything. He was abused, neglected, left to die." The woman blinked, then nodded. "All right, let's take a look." Back at the clinic, Valor napped beneath a heated lamp. His recovery was still slow, but every day he looked more like a kitten and less like a ghost. He even started batting at strings and chasing light beams like a normal baby cat. Ava filmed everything, just in case she had to prove how far he'd come. The clinic staff rallied around her. Josh printed extra copies of the vet statements. Emily, the senior vet, offered to testify if needed. "You're doing the right thing," she told Ava. "That man doesn't deserve him back." But the hardest moment came when Ava received a letter. Hearing scheduled, small claims and custody review. The man had officially filed to reclaim Valor, and she'd have to stand in court to stop him. The courtroom was quiet and cold. Fluorescent lights buzzed. The man arrived in a wrinkled jacket, bored and impatient. He glanced at Ava, barely nodding. "He's just a cat," he said to the judge. "We lost him. We just want him back." Ava stood slowly. "Your Honor," she began, her voice shaking, "this isn't just a cat. This is Valor. And I have proof that he was abused, neglected, and left to die. I have evidence of physical trauma, expert testimony, and medical documentation." She placed the file on the clerk's table. The judge flipped through it in silence. The man shrugged. "We didn't hurt it. Probably got hit by a car or something." Ava locked eyes with him. "You called him it. Not he. Not Valor. Not even Cat. Just it." The judge looked up. "Miss Avery, do you wish to assume permanent responsibility for the animal's medical needs, safety, and well-being?" "Yes. With everything I have." The room went still. The judge cleared his throat. "Custody of the animal, hereafter named Valor, is awarded to Ava Avery on grounds of rescue, rehabilitation, and overwhelming evidence of neglect by the previous owner. Case closed." Ava exhaled so hard she almost collapsed. She didn't hear the man curse as he stormed out. All she saw in her mind's eye was Valor purring in her arms. Weeks passed, then months. Valor grew, not just in size but in spirit. His cloudy eye cleared slightly after a second round of treatment. His limp faded. He raced through Ava's small apartment like a lightning bolt, chasing everything from shadows to feathers to falling socks. One morning, he jumped on her pillow and headbutted her nose. Ava groaned. "Is this your way of saying you're hungry?" He meowed and flopped dramatically. Fine, fine," she laughed. "You win." She poured him breakfast and watched as he devoured it. Outside, the sun spilled golden light across the floor. Valor leapt into the beam, rolled onto his back, and stretched with a satisfied sigh. From a dying cry in a rainy alley to this moment, it felt like witnessing a miracle. Ava reached for her phone and took a photo. Captioned it, "My Little Hero." She posted it to a pet rescue group, sharing the whole story. Thousands of people responded. Comments poured in, some weeping, some celebrating, many thanking her for not giving up. One message stood out. "You didn't just save a kitten. You reminded me there's still good in this world." Ava put the phone down and sat beside Valor. He purred and curled up in her lap. She whispered, "You changed me too." Life went on, but one thing never changed. Every night, as Ava turned off the lights and got into bed, Valor would jump up, walk across the blankets, and settle into the crook of her arm, as if to say, "I remember who held me first." And she would whisper back every time, "I'll always hold you." The end.